Imagine a single page of writing that changed the world. Not a sacred scripture of thousands of verses, not a philosophy book of endless arguments, but a short cryptic tablet, just a handful of lines. Yet these lines were said to contain the key to all mysteries of nature, the key to alchemy, the key to transformation itself. That page is known as the Emerald Tablet, and its influence has been like an underground river, flowing quietly, invisibly, beneath the surface of history, feeding secret societies, shaping mystics, inspiring scientists, and whispering into the dreams of philosophers and poets alike. In this episode, we trace the hidden influence of the Emerald Tablet, from medieval alchemists to modern psychology, from secret brotherhoods to spiritual awakenings, from the laboratories of scholars in Baghdad to the visions of Carl Jung. It is one of the most astonishing legacies in human history. And it begins with a simple phrase, perhaps the most famous in all of esotericism, as above, so below. But before we reach that, let's move backward. The Emerald Tablet was not widely known in the ancient world. Its legend grew during the Middle Ages, when Arabic scholars translated Old Greek and Hermetic texts into Arabic, and from Arabic into Latin. It was in that translation chain, in the hands of Islamic scholars in places like Baghdad and Andalusia, that the tablet was preserved, studied, and transmitted to Europe. There it became the beating heart of alchemy. Medieval alchemists believed the tablet held the secret to the great work, the Magnum Opus. The transformation of base metals into gold, yes, but more deeply, the transformation of the human soul into something incorruptible. They would copy the verses onto manuscripts, inscribe them on laboratory walls, meditate on them in candlelight. The tablet was treated not merely as instruction, but as revelation. The strange language, separate the subtle from the gross, gently and with great ingenuity, became the alchemists' puzzle, their guiding star. In Islamic esotericism, the tablet resonated with Sufi philosophy, with its emphasis on unity and reflection. In Christian mysticism, it echoed the idea of man as the image of God. In Jewish Kabbalah, parallels were drawn between its axiom, as above, so below, and the tree of life, bridging heaven and earth. This short text moved across cultures like a ghost, shaping the thought worlds of different faiths, different secret orders, always hinting at a universal law hidden behind appearances. By the time of the Renaissance, the Emerald Tablet was inseparable from Hermeticism, the revival of ancient wisdom attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. Thinkers like Marsilio Ficino and Giordano Bruno saw in it the proof that the universe was one vast living organism. Microcosm and macrocosm, heaven and earth, spirit and matter, all reflected one another. And this principle, as above, so below, became the master key of Renaissance magic and science alike. To study the stars was to study man. To understand the human soul was to understand the cosmos. The laboratory and the temple were two doors into the same house of wisdom. This is why alchemy was never just superstition. It inspired chemistry. It shaped medicine. It guided early astronomy. It gave birth to psychology. The Emerald Tablet acted as a hinge, swinging open the door between science and spirituality. But its influence did not stop there. In the 17th century, the mysterious Rosicrucian manifestos appeared in Europe, pamphlets claiming the existence of a secret brotherhood of enlightened adepts. Their language echoed Hermeticism and the tablet. They spoke of hidden wisdom, universal reformation, the unity of all knowledge. Whether the brotherhood truly existed or not, the effect was real. Across Europe, mystics, scientists, and seekers began to imagine a secret current of wisdom flowing behind history. This current fed directly into Freemasonry, into Theosophy, into countless occult revivals. Even today, if you step into a Masonic lodge or study Rosicrucian teachings, the axiom of the Emerald Tablet is there, sometimes in plain words, sometimes in hidden form. As above, so below, became a watchword of the mystery schools. And then, in the 20th century, came a surprising turn: psychology. Carl Jung, one of the great pioneers of depth psychology, was fascinated by alchemy. To him, The strange symbols of the alchemists were not primitive chemistry experiments, but coded images of the human psyche. Dreams, visions, archetypes, all were forms of alchemy happening in the unconscious mind. Jung kept a copy of the Emerald Tablet. He quoted its lines, and he interpreted, as above, so below, as the law of correspondence between the outer world and the inner world, the cosmos and the psyche. What happens in the heavens is reflected in the soul. What is unconscious seeks expression in the material world. Through Jung, the tablet stepped into modern thought. It bridged the world of mysticism and the science of the mind. And here is where the story grows even more fascinating. The phrase, as above, so below, now appears in self-help books, in New Age seminars, and discussions of the law of attraction. Sometimes shallow, sometimes profound, but always pointing back to that hidden root. Think of it. A handful of lines, written centuries ago, preserved through translations and secret circles, now echoing in both spiritual workshops and psychological theory. And yet, the tablet remains mysterious. We do not know who wrote it. We do not know when. We do not even know if it was ever a physical object or only ever a teaching whispered in secret. But we do know this. Its influence has been vast. From Baghdad scholars to European alchemists, from Rosicrucians to Jung, from hidden lodges to modern seekers, it has never stopped whispering. Now, some seekers today still struggle with the cryptic lines. They feel dense, riddle-like, paradoxical. Many read once and give up, but others search for keys, guides to unlock its symbolism. One such guide, called the Emerald Tablet, Decoded, the secret of as above, so below, turns those puzzling lines into a clear path of transformation. It doesn't replace the tablet, it illuminates it. Think of it as a quiet companion, a lantern in the dark. If you're curious, I'll leave a link in the description and in the first comment, because sometimes the greatest truths arrive not with a shout, but with a whisper. And perhaps this is the true power of the Emerald Tablet, not in its words alone, but in how those words inspire generation after generation to search. The alchemists searched in their furnaces, the mystics searched in their prayers, the secret societies searched in their symbols, Jung searched in the unconscious, and you now search in your own way. As above, so below, as within, so without. As the universe, so the soul. This simple phrase still has the power to shake how we see reality. It reminds us that nothing is separate, that the outer world and the inner world mirror each other. That transformation is not only possible, it is the very law of existence. And so the Emerald Tablet continues its hidden influence today, inspiring new seekers, shaping movements, whispering its secret into the ears of those willing to listen. In our next and final episode of this series, we'll look at why the tablet still matters in the modern age, why, in a time of chaos and uncertainty, its riddle still holds the key to awakening, and why perhaps its greatest secret has yet to be revealed. Until then, remember, hidden wisdom does not vanish. It waits, patiently, for those who seek. Welcome back to the Vault of Hidden Knowledge. Welcome to Occultus.